What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday over here. Bitcoin not doing too much at the moment. However, it is staying on top of 27K. We are going to be taking a look into what's going on in the charts with Bitcoin. It had a pretty good week, pumping, and brought quite a bit of these altcoins up with it. Could this trend continue into the strong resistance zone into about 28K? Where quite a bit of these major moving averages are, or would it actually get a pullback here and get quite a bit of volatility and would negatively affect quite a bit of these altcoins? We're going to be taking a look into that. However, the main topic of this video is going to be about the Chainlink token link. See what has gone on in this market since the last time I've talked about it. Is it ready to actually break out of this downtrend here? We're going to be taking a look into some upside and downside price targets for Link, as well as some key price levels this market needs to break in order to go either direction. I'm going to be giving you guys my personal sentiment and opinions on this market later in this video, so make sure to stay around for that. Of course, none of what I'm saying here is financial advice. It is purely my personal opinions and speculations. I could very well be wrong. I am not a financial advisor nor an elite trader of any sort, even though I am a profitable trader who's been able to keep most of my profits during the last bear market. And I'm looking to crush it here for the next bull cycle. So if you guys feel the same way, if you guys feel pumped, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Let's get right into the charts. All right, so we do have Link here currently at about $7.86, down about 4% today. So quite a bit of a dump here for Link for this bigger altcoin, okay? So what has actually gone on since last time with this token? Last time, I actually brought up that Link has been running within this falling channel pattern. It's very flatly falling, but it is still a falling channel pattern here. Now, this price action is getting very close to this top trend line, which it looks like, it could be trying to break out on the swing, or would it actually take a little longer and take another swing down to the bottom trend line here? Very important to actually pay attention to what's going on right now, okay? So if the price action actually breaks out of this falling channel here, we have a measure move of about $13, just right above $13 area here, okay? Now, this measure move is based on this week's breaking point. However, it looks like this week is almost over. We got about 5 more hours until this weekly candle close. So I am going to move this measure target down along this upward trend line here because it has not broken out yet. I'm just going to say conservatively, based on this price action right now, since it's pretty close to this upward trend line, I'm going to say conservatively, it'll break. I'm just going to pick out a random breakout point, okay? It's going to be about 2 weeks from this week's candle, okay? So it'll actually be the following week because, we're going to have a new weekly candle within about 5 hours, right? So this measure target is going to be based off about, 2 weeks. It's just a random breakout point based on what seems reasonable right now. Of course, I'm not saying that it has to break out within this 2 weeks, right? It could break out later or it could break out earlier. I'm just picking a point that's reasonable and so we can get a measure target, right? All right, so it's kind of lagging over here. My computer network is a little lagging, so I hope that doesn't, translate into the actual recording. So let's see here, okay? We got about $13 measure targets. Now, measure targets are estimates only, okay? Do your own research. The trading concepts I'm talking about here, it's basically you got your falling channel, you got your measure targets. Now, this is all free public knowledge. do your Google searches on what I'm talking about here. Go and verify it yourself, because the most important thing you can actually get out of watching content like this on YouTube is learning technical analysis, so you can actually be in this game for the long term. Okay, you don't want to just come on here and find a measure target based on someone on YouTube randomly that they're saying. That is, that makes almost no value. There's no value in that. Okay, there's very little value in that, right? So we're on the weekly time frame right now. Let's take a look into the daily time frame and see if we can get any clues. If this is going to be a breakout swing, or if this is just going to be another swing that we've seen before, where you get rejected at this top trend line here, and then it's going to come back to the bottom here. Because that's still going to be a pretty big drop, right? So let's come down here on the daily time frame, where I could get a bit more clues on what could be happening on the weekly, right? So on this daily time frame here, there is a it's not a fully formed pattern here, okay? But what it does look like, I mean, my best guess is it looks like a cup and handle that's being formed. But the price action does need to come back up here to test about $8.50 area, right? Before it fully forms a cup and handle. Now, if this, it's a big if here, okay? If this price action actually forms this cup and handle and actually completes this cup and handle, my guess is you're going to have a measure target, that's going to be at about, if you actually take a measurement from the neckline here of this cup and handle, right? And then you take it, measure it down to the bottom here. So it's basically about 850 minus about 560. You're gonna get a measure target that's gonna break out of this pattern. So this is a big if, because like I said, this is not a fully formed cup and handle. But if it does, then and if the price action breaks out of this cup and handle, and it meets some of that measure targets, that would take Link out of this falling channel pattern. So quite a bit of what ifs in this scenario. Of course, a lot of it is going to depend on Bitcoin, right? Because the biggest setup in the market is still going to be based off Bitcoin, and then going to be looking at the altcoins, okay? And then you worry about your entry point. I mean, that's my thought process, right? You guys let me know what you guys are looking at in terms of making an entry. But that is basically my thought process, just my personal opinion. Let's take a look into some key price resistances for this price action, right? So let's go ahead and go to let's see if we have any bigger resistances for this price action right now. So monthly 21 SMA is basically going to be your immediate. It's going to be your immediate overhead resistance, right? At about that $8.15 area, I would say. It's basically the blue line here. And then you guys can come down to the weekly time frame. You are basically on top of your weekly 21 SMA, your weekly 50 SMA. So you got your weekly 200 basically waiting for you at the measure target of that bigger falling channel pattern. So that is something that I'm not really too worried about at this time, because, it's way out there. And then you can come down to your 3-day moving averages. You're basically right at the 3-day 200 SMA, right? The orange line at about $8. And then you guys can do the same thing for whatever time frames you guys are trading on or focusing in, right? But that's basically some of the noticeable key resistances for this price action right now. You guys can also do, dig into further key resistances based on past trading history, depending on the time frame you guys are trading on. But we're not going to do that here for time's sake. So let's go ahead and come down to the and actually look at some key supports this price action is looking at, right? So you are basically on top of all your daily moving averages. That's going to be ranging from about $6.50 area to about $7 area, okay? And then you got your 3-day moving averages below the price action right now, which is your 3-day 21 and your 3-day 50. That's going to be ranging from about $6.60 to about $7.75 area. So in that range. And you guys can continue doing this on a lower time frame as well. But those are going to be some key supports to be paying attention to. So that's basically for Link right now. Let's take a look into Bitcoin real quick. I know it hasn't really done too much over the weekend, right? It doesn't usually do too much. Bitcoin right now about 27.1K here. It has had a pretty good week overall and has brought up quite a bit of these altcoins with it. So it's very important to be paying attention to Bitcoin right now because, like I said, it is approaching that very strong resistance zone at about 28K. You got your weekly 200 SMA, weekly 21 SMA, your daily 200 SMA. So it's going to be pretty dense with resistance at the 28K zone. That is something to definitely be paying attention to because, you know, I'm going to be expecting some volatility at least, right? That's not going to be an easy zone for Bitcoin, right? Aside from that, however, we are looking at, on the shorter time frame here, right? On this 4-hour time frame, right? Price action has broken out of a bigger falling wedge, right? It usually breaks to the upside. Measure target of this falling wedge is going to be about 29.2K area. Price action has broken out of that. It looks like it's trying to form some type of cup and handle here. It's not fully formed, but this is something that's being developed right now, right? If it is formed and breaks out, that would look pretty bullish for Bitcoin at the moment. But I would say, overall it's still a little bit edgy right now. My overall sentiment on this market is still bullish at this time because we have been able to stay away from this double top pattern. The breakdown of this double top pattern, which is about 24.7K. You do have your weekly 50 SMA that is coming up to the price action right now. So that is good news because that makes it a lot more clear to trade regardless if you're on the long or short side, okay? Because, for example, like just a very preliminary thought is like, if I am long, then if Bitcoin actually breaks 24.7K, then I'm just going to liquidate my longs, right? Without, really worrying about the weekly 50 SMA coming up for a that's gonna support the price action. So that's basically what I'm looking at this time. I mean, we're not very far from that possible breakdown still, even though the price action has been able to stay away from it for the past couple of weeks. But that is something to be keeping an eye out on. That's like, still about 10% away, and you can have a 10% move pretty randomly in this market. So definitely not something to be taking your eyes off of. So, like I said, my overall sentiment on this market is still bullish at this time. I am still long on quite a bit of altcoins. If you guys do want to see more of Link, do hit that like, hit that subscribe button, comment. If enough of you guys do want to see it, I will bring you guys an update on Link. Now, that's it for this post. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.